Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be reviewing the brand new Bendy and the Dark Revival action figures by Jakks Pacific. But first, let's go through why when these toys were revealed, I wasn't too excited as it was made by Jakks Pacific. So for those of you who don't know, Jakks Pacific is a toy company who has IPs and makes toys out of them such as Super Mario Bros. And Sonic the Hedgehog. However, I was introduced to Jakks Pacific through one of their worst toy lines, being Godzilla King of the Monsters. I didn't like that toy line as the figures had horrible paint jobs and had horrible articulations to the figures. Later on, I will be introduced to another toy line made by Jakks Pacific, being the range of Apex Legends figures, which were not horrible. However, as you can see here, I have Revenant. The paint job on this figure isn't the best, and the articulation on this figure isn't the best. So yeah, I wasn't excited for Bendy and the Dark Revival when it got announced that it would be made by Jakks Pacific. However, my views of Jakks Pacific has changed because of this toy line. Now before we get into the review, let's go over the box design. Now here's the box design, this being Tom's box. It has the Bendy logo at the top. I know you can't see that, it's not in camera view. And then a 3D resolution of Bendy himself. A small figure shot of the figure. This is a window packaging. Also, another shot of the figure and Tom. And then another shot, 3D resolution of Bendy. And then the back, it shows you collect them all. The usual action figure box things where it shows you the bit of the articulation and all the accessories it comes with. With that out of the way, what figures are we going to be reviewing today? Well, today we're going to be reviewing Tom, being Boris the Wolf, Bendy himself, Audrey, and the Ink Demon. So let's start off with Tom. Okay, first of all, Tom comes with a backdrop of Heavenly Toys. Now, if you realize by now, each of the figures here come with a backdrop, which is a neat little feature that not all toy lines do, which is nice to give the illusion that you can create a scenario in their world. So yeah. And Tom also comes with an axe. Now, in my opinion, if you played Bendy and the Ink Machine and Bendy and the Dark Revival, this axe is too huge for the character, as this is basically the almost half of Tom's leg. So yeah. So this axe is too huge, and second of all, my issue with this figure is that it can't grab the axe well, where okay, well now it's working well, but off camera just now, I played with it a bit. The axe couldn't get in the hand at all, where it's quite tough to actually make it stay still without, yeah, there we go, it wobbling around. But yeah. So, figure wise, this is an excellent figure. Now we've only, oh, sorry, I'll put that to the side. We've only ever gotten one other figure of Tom, being one that was made by Fat Mojo, and I'll get into the comparisons between both later. But yeah, this is an excellent figure. Now, the price I paid for this, right now they're only technically available on eBay for overseas users. However, in America, these are I think 20 USD each. So yeah. So for $20, you are getting a very highly detailed version of Tom. I can't believe this is 20 bucks. The amount of detail they put into him, all the ink splatters across the figure, the arm itself, it looks phenomenal. The figure itself looks excellent, and I'm surprised that this is seriously only $20 when figures like this nowadays would cost for up to $50. Not to mention, the figure actually has good articulation. Now let's get into it. So for this figure, each of the figures in the Bendy line have different forms of articulation, so I will be going into them. For Tom, the robot arm, you can move it up this much, and the arm is on a cut where you can rotate it 360, can move it down that far. You can move the elbow up to a 90-degree angle and move back like that much. The hand is of course on a swivel joint. You can move the hand slightly a bit. It's a bit on a hinge joint. It's not a great hinge joint, but still. On the other arm, it's roughly the same thing. However, you only can move it up that much, down that much, and basically the same hinge joint on the hand and hinge joint on the elbow. And there's a diaphragm cut for the figure where it's not a very useful diaphragm cut, where, hold on, let me see if I can get into focus. There we go. You can't really move the figure forward, make him bend forward. However, you can make him bend back a little, and then you can make him go side to side, which is not bad. The legs, they can go out that much, which isn't a lot, and the leg can't go back that much. The legs also on a there's a cut here where you can rotate it 360, and you can bend each leg like that. And then the foot is on a hinge joint. You can move it up that much and back that much. And also the hinge joint has a bit of a pivot. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, has a bit of a pivot, which is not bad. So overall articulation for this, it's good for the price you're buying this at. So I can't really complain. So yeah, Tom overall is a very good looking figure, a very accurate representation of what Tom actually looks like in game. So yeah, I would definitely recommend buying this for $20. And in Singapore, I would say I'll pay up to $40 at least for this, which is the price I bought it off of eBay. So yeah, overall, I would say for the price this figure is, I would give this an 8 out of 10. It's a very good figure. Alright, the next figure, I'll put him to the side for now. The next figure we're gonna go into is the little devil darling himself, being Bendy. Okay, so here is Bendy himself. Now it comes with another backdrop with welcome home. Nice. And he comes with an accessory being his toy train we first see him with, which is a very nice little toy train. Put that aside. And here is Bendy himself. Now this is an excellent representation of Bendy himself. It's an excellent figure. The only inaccuracy I can see for the figure is at the gloves there should be some dots, but there isn't. However, this itself is such an accurate figure. Other than that inaccuracy which I point out, where it has the same thing with Boris, so much like ink splotches all over the figure, as you can see, and so many like scratches you would actually see in game. It's excellent, these figures, and these figures are so cheap that I would definitely recommend buying it. Bendy himself, the face sculpt is very nice. They could have done it lazy and not done the, like, made this a separate piece, the head and the face, but they did, which made it actually look even more accurate to game. What they also did, which isn't really shown on Boris, is they added a little, they made the figure a bit more shiny with this one and added like glossing to it, where you can see it does look like as if this came from ink itself. So that's amazing. I definitely recommend to buy this figure. Now let's get into articulation. Articulation for this guy is actually pretty good for such a tiny dude. At the arm, you can move it up that much, and it stops right there as the head's in the way. You can move it down that far. The elbow is, you can make it go to a 90-degree angle, move it straight, and the hand is on a ball joint, so yeah, you get the gist. Same with the other side. The leg is on a ball joint. You can move it up that high, and you can move it back that far, and it has a tough elbow joint, knee joint, but yeah, it has one. There you go. And the feet is on a ball joint, so it has, of course, can pivot that much, and back that much, and forward that much. And the head, you can, it's not on any joint, however you can rotate it 360 degrees. So yeah, this is another excellent figure made by Jakks Pacific. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this, not to mention this is Bendy himself, so I would recommend buying this figure. So yeah, overall, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason why it's not good is I wish that the head was on a ball joint so that you can move the head up and down. And I do wish that the hand had something such as the circles, just a small inaccuracy. But what I would also say would have made this figure definitely better is if it had face swapping, a face swapping mechanic where you could take off one face and put on another face where it's like angry, and other faces like him crying and stuff like that. That would have made it perfect. Anyways, the next one being the weakest of them all, Audrey. Okay, Audrey. First of all, she comes with another backdrop being the respawn device in-game. When you die in-game, you respawn out of this, and this is the only one to actually be like a 3D backdrop, as it has where you would usually spawn out of, being this board here. So yeah, nice. I would say this is the best backdrop. The figure comes with a level 1 gent pipe, which is nice. And this is Audrey. Now, small issues with Audrey in my opinion. First of all, there's two things I don't really like about the figure. First, the articulation is, I would say, the worst here. And second of all, the coloration on this figure is the worst. And last but not least, I would have liked some things, such as an interchangeable hand, where I would have liked it if they gave a hand with the glow effect, you know, like the swirls on her hand, like the ink swirls, yellow swirls on her hand. I would have liked that. But yeah, if you can see, what I mean by color inaccuracy, over here is a different shade of a lighter shade of brown. However, on the arm is a darker shade of brown. Now this isn't her skin here. This is still her clothing, being the same clothing here. So yeah, I just find that a bit annoying overall. And the articulation on this figure is not the best. This is the figure is on a ball joint. However, her hair makes it so that you can only look up that far. However, you can turn the head 360. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, Tom does have a ball joint on the head. He can look up that far, down that much, and of course turn 360. Sorry if I'm putting that later in the video. But yeah, her articulation other than the head, the arm can move up that much, down that much. The arm goes 90 degrees, same as the others, and the hand is on a hinge joint, meaning, let me see, you can move it down that much and turn it down that much. Same with the other side. And then the leg, you can... Oh, okay, shoot. Okay. You can kick out that far, and you can move slightly back, and the leg can bend, the knee can bend to a 90-degree angle. The feet on a hinge joint can bend down that much and like that. However, you don't get the option to do pivot, to pivot the foot for this figure, which is the only figure to not have pivoting. So yeah, overall, I would say out of all the figures, this is the worst one. However, this is still very good compared to Fat Mojo's, which I will show later. I just feel like out of the figures we've seen so far, being Tom and Bendy, Audrey is definitely the worst, and you'll see she is still going to be the worst when it comes to the Ink Demon, which is the final figure we are going to review. Okay, so the Ink Demon. First of all, I'm just gonna say this. The stand isn't the greatest for this figure, as it's a small peg on the... It's a small peg. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, he can fall off easily from the peg, and I'll go into why he falls off easily. However, the backdrop is the most interesting here, being the ink machine, which is something a lot of people would love to have. However, I wouldn't say this is the best ink machine merch we got out there. The best ink machine merch we got out there is the Fat Mojo ink machine itself. So yeah, I would still say that's one Fat Mojo product that's still good. The Ink Demon comes with the accessory being the end, being the thing we use to reset the cycle in Bendy and the Dark Revival. So that is a very nice accessory. So yeah, the Ink Demon. Now this figure is the most expensive figure if you buy him by himself on eBay, where I've seen people listing the Ink Demon for up to $100. So you would obviously be expecting this figure to be good, right? Well, yes, he is the most accurate figure out of all the figures we've had here today, and he is the most which is impressive, as this is the most complex design you can have to make into figure form and make it work, such as the hands having sharp, like long fingers. You would expect these to break. However, these don't break that easily. And the spines at the back, you would expect these to break. They don't break easily. The arm here has the bone structure, which is shown in game. You expect that to break. And you expect the legs, them to actually make it bigger so that it could stand, where they didn't bother to make it bigger. They just copied it from straight out of the game, where it's like thin and short, which is unfortunate. The reason they did this, because well, you can obviously guess, it doesn't stand at all. You need the stand to at least help it stand. The face sculpt of this is so beautiful, and the figure itself overall is the best out of the entire Wave 1 set. So yeah, I would definitely say the most I would pay for this though is $60. I wouldn't pay more than that, me personally, okay? You're allowed to have your opinion of how much you're willing to pay for figures. So yeah, and this figure has, I think, the best articulation for what it is. First of all, this is on a, it has like a neck joint articulation here, where the head can turn 360 degrees. However, it usually turns with the neck. You can look down that far and up that far, and also you can tilt it from there and tilt it there, of course, because it has a neck joint also. The arm, you can move it up that high and down that much. The elbows, you can bend it at 90 degrees, which is the same for all figures. And also its hand is on a hinge joint. You can bend it down that much and tilt it up that much. Same with the other hand. And it's also on a diaphragm joint where you can tilt it that way, tilt it that way to the other side. You can bend it slightly back, and you can tilt it forward so that you can recreate what he looks like in game, where he's always like bending forward in game. Bendy, bending forward. So yeah. Now the legs that are on this, you can bend up that much. Yeah, basically this has the best split out of all figures. Let me just show you all the splits. This is Tom's split. This is Bendy's split, which is another A. And this is Audrey's split, which is higher than the others. However, this guy can split all the way down. So yep, that's how he's, you can move the leg out that much and move the leg back that far, which is the best out of all of them. And also you can bend the knees that much and bend it back that much. And also the foot, the hoof, is on another cut where you can move it back that much and forward that much. So yeah, overall the articulation they've done for such a complex design, and they didn't sacrifice any detailings at all. It is amazing that these figures are $20 in retail stores such as Walmart. So yeah, I would say this is the best figure out of all of them. 9.5 out of 10. If you could find this in store, I would definitely recommend it. However, if you're willing to spend a bit more, I would say buy him off of eBay. However, how do I think these figures would do up against their predecessors, being the Bendy figures made by Fat Mojo? Now, for those of you who don't know Fat Mojo, they're a toy company mainly making indie horror game figures such as Poppy Playtime and Garten of Banban nowadays. However, back then, Bendy was their first indie horror game license, and they did quite good with the figures. They had quite decent articulation, where you can turn the head 360, you can move the arm up that much, down that much, you can bend the elbow, and you can rotate the hand 360, and for the leg, you can spread out that much, and move up that much, back that much, and also it has a knee joint. So yeah, these figures, back when they were first released, they had good articulation, good accessories. However, throughout the times, Fat Mojo has gotten lazier and lazier with their figures, ending up with, in their last series of figures, this was their Ink Demon, where you could rotate the head 360 degrees, 360. You can, however, the articulation on the hands, no more, you can't move it up anymore, you can't bend the elbow. Instead, you get one of those Hasbro figures where you can rotate it 360 and you can move the leg up that much, and you can't even move the leg back. So yeah, Fat Mojo started off great with their Bendy toy license, however ended horribly with their toy license. So how do I think these figures are put against the Jakks Pacific figures? Well, first of all, Audrey for Jakks Pacific. Even though Audrey is the worst of them all out of the new wave, I would say she is still better than Fat Mojo's, mainly because she defeats this Fat Mojo's by articulation. However, this version of Fat Mojo's, the color accuracy is more accurate, and it even has that glowing hand. However, one cool feature I realized is if you have the wrench from this Fat Mojo figure, you can take it off and put it on the new Jakks Pacific Audrey, which I think is better. So yeah, however, this Audrey, even though has better color accuracies, this is still way better because of the articulation. You can put this in so many poses, while this you can't put it in any poses at all. So yeah, which is sad, but yeah. So yeah, I would say out of these two, you should definitely buy Audrey. Next we have Bendy. Now this version of Bendy is the weirdest looking Bendy Fat Mojo has given us, as this Bendy's proportions are elongated. At least it does have the ovals on the hand. However, you can see the arms, the legs are long, and the head looks odd. And yep, of course, articulation horrible. So yep, because of articulation, I would say the new Bendy is way better, and because it looks more game accurate than this Bendy. Yep, this Bendy is inaccurate, while this one's more accurate to the actual game. Next we have Tom, which is a big change. Now I know at one point I think they made the Fat Mojo Tom into the game accurate colors. However, the more common version is the white and black version, which is inaccurate to the character at all, because I would have been okay if this was in black and white. However, this wasn't in the cartoons at all. So yeah, it should have been always in black and yellow. However, it wasn't. And the proportions for this is smaller than the actual proportions. Like, goddamn, this version of Bendy is bigger, almost bigger than Tom here. But yeah, overall, this newer version of Tom, way better than this one, more accurate and more articulation, and also better accessories, being the axe, while this one had a pipe, I think. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend to buy Jakks Pacific. And the last one we have today, the Ink Demon, where this is based on the final game. However, this Ink Demon from Fat Mojo is based off of concept art, and it doesn't even look accurate to that concept art. So this one isn't even accurate at all to any versions of Bendy, while this one is the most accurate version of Bendy we've ever gotten. And also, do I need to say it again? This one here from Jakks Pacific has better articulation, while this one from Fat Mojo doesn't. So overall, what are my thoughts on Jakks Pacific after this? I am glad that they've given the Bendy license to Jakks Pacific, as these are some of the best figures in indie horror merch that we've ever gotten for any games. This, I would even say, is better than the Funko Five Nights at Freddy's figures, where we should see soon if these would stand up against the new Jazzware Five Nights at Freddy's figures. But overall, I love these figures for how accurate they are, and I would say if you find them in stores, definitely grab them while these are still available, as I think scalpers are going to buy them. Anyways, before I end the video, I'm gonna put these figures in some poses, and they will appear right here now. Okay, so those are some of the poses you can put it. I just like to show that at the end of the videos from now on. So yeah, overall, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you find it informative. If you didn't like it, tell me in the comments section what I can improve upon my reviews. And yeah, until the next video,